Hey team, good morning from Lima, Ohio. I'm here watching my nephew is running the 3,000 meter today. Really excited for him. He's aiming for a between an 8:40 and 8:45 for 3,000 meters. His personal best is 8:53. But today's topic, I wanted to go over what not to do in a marathon. Okay, I know a lot of you out there are training to try to set a new personal best in this event, and I had to go through a lot of trials and errors trying to get the 26.2 mile, 42.2 kilometer event correct. And more than anything, I think what you need to have is patience and tenacity. Okay, you have to make sure that you're not trying to win this race in the first 13.1 miles or 21.1 kilometers of the event. Nutrition and hydration are absolutely vital if you want to run a marathon optimally. Okay, there are so many athletes that have all the drive, have all the motivation, even world-class athletes that have the initiative to go out and set a new personal best, but they ruin it by going out far too fast and also not taking in enough fluid and calories in the race. Okay, when I ran my best time of 2:19:35 at the 2007 California International Marathon, the things that I was really paying attention to in that race was taking in between 3 and 4 gels. Usually I would take a gel just about every 6 miles of the race, between 5 and 6 miles of the race. And I think taking that into account when you're training for and you're in the race itself, you're giving yourself anywhere from around 100 to 200 calories of immediate glycogen that your body desperately needs to get the marathon right. So one of the things, in terms of what should you not do in a marathon, you should definitely not try to run 26.2 miles or 42.2 kilometers without taking in sufficient fluid and calories in the race. I think a lot of you are doing everything else right. You're consistent with your volume, you're consistent with your speed training. Maybe another major thing that you're doing is you're dropping volume and your intensity too far out from your goal marathon. Okay, a lot of athletes will go into their marathon feeling flat and tired and wonder what the heck's going on. I mean, I started dropping my volume and my intensity. I should be resting. Why do I feel like crap going into this race? Or why did I feel so bad in the race? And I think that's something else that you should not do going into your marathon, is to start peaking too soon, start dropping your volume and intensity too far out from your main race. But definitely in terms of what should you not do in a marathon, make sure that you're not trying to run this event like it's a 5K or 10K. Okay, a 5K and a 10K, you can get away with not drinking enough and not taking in really any gels, because those races are so anaerobic. They're done so quickly that you don't necessarily need gels in a 5K or 10K, but you definitely need those calories and that energy consumption in races that are, say, 10 miles, half marathon, marathon events, especially in the marathon event. Okay, your pacing is all, aside from nutrition, aside from hydration, your pacing is critical in a marathon. So in terms of what should you not do in a marathon, make sure that you're not going too anaerobic too early in the race. Okay, when I ran 2:19, I went out in 1:07:09 through the first half, came back with a 1:12:26. Sometimes you can run a positive split in a marathon and still set a new personal best if you've done your homework in training. Now, I knew going into that race that I was ready to run a time that quick. Okay, I had run 50:54 for 10 miles. I had run a new personal best of 1:07:06 for the half marathon. So I knew that I did a proper taper. Okay, I'm not sharing this to impress you. There are plenty of athletes out there that ran faster than I ran for the marathon. Okay, what I'm trying to do is to impress upon you the importance of making sure you're consistent with your training and knowing that there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be poor races. I had plenty of them. There's going to be bad workouts. but you have to stay persistent and consistent with your training, and just stay focused on your goal. Do not let up. In that race, like I said, I was only 3 seconds slower through the half than my personal best for the half marathon. Again, my PR is 107.06. I went out the first half in 107.09. Came back with a positive split, ran 112.26. Looking back, I don't think I would have if I would have went out in 112.26. I don't know if I would have been able to run a 107.09 for that second half. Sometimes you just have to go out and you really have to know your fitness level, know you've tapered down correctly, be confident in your preparation, and if you're going to run that aggressive that early in the race, you have to make sure that once you make that move, that you are going to stick to your guns, and you're going to make sure that you stay on course in regards to your pace. My recommendation is to run a negative split. Run that second half of your marathon faster than you're running the first half of the marathon. So what should you not do in a marathon? In most cases, you shouldn't run a positive split. Try to run a negative split. Be a little bit more aggressive and more conservative. Be more conservative in that first half and be much more aggressive in that second half, and especially in the last 10 kilometers of the race. Okay. Sometimes, like I said, even when I ran 2:19, I was at 1:44.05 at 20 miles. I was at 5:11 mile pace through the 20 mile mark. So I slowed down drastically in that last 10 kilometers. Again, sometimes looking back, there's so many things we can do right, and we can say, well, I wish I would have done this. I should have done this. If you go out and you set a personal best, of course, there's no perfect race. We're all going to make mistakes in our races, but do the best you can to be happy with your end result. Okay, if you don't get a new personal best, then try to look back at the race and write down after the race the things that went right. Okay, don't focus all of your energy and attention on the things that went wrong. Okay, because those things that went wrong can be your weapons and work for you later on in your preparation, because you know what you did wrong. So now you know, okay, these are the things I need to correct to make sure that I go into my next marathon race in the best possible shape, both physically and mentally, than I could be in. Okay, so you should not dwell on the past. Okay, do your very best to prepare properly. I have resources below all of my videos. Definitely check those out, and on RunDreamAchieve.com. So they're there to hopefully speed up your progress and bypass a lot of the mistakes that a lot of athletes are making. And also, I've built into my running courses and the training plans a lot of the things that work the very best for me. Okay, and I've seen other athletes really get legitimate results by following these methods as well. You can click on the testimonial page on RunDreamAchieve.com. Just click on testimonials up on the top navigation menu, and you can read what they're saying as well. But I think these are the most important things you really have to keep in mind of what you should not do in a marathon. Don't go out too fast. Make sure that you're taking in enough fluid and calories in the race. Don't try to run a marathon with a few sips of water or Gatorade in the race. Okay, your body desperately needs those calories and that sugar and glycogen in a race that long. Do not, if you can do the best you can, do not run a positive split unless you are fully prepared to run that much more aggressive in the first half than you run in the second half. Again, you can still set a new personal best by going out faster in the first half and coming back slower in the second half. Okay, I'm an example of that. And there are millions of other athletes out there that have run a new personal best by running a positive split. That being said, there's a higher percentage of success if you run a negative split. A lot of the world records that have been set on the track and on the roads have been set by athletes that are running a negative split rather than a positive split. So I hope this video is helpful for all of you in terms of what should you not do in a marathon. Feel free to leave me a comment below. I'd really like to hear what mistakes that you've made. Also, what are the successes you've made? And those mistakes that you've made, what did you learn from them? Okay, I'd love to hear that, and I will definitely respond back to your comments. So Like this video, share it with other athletes. Feel free, if you're brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so when I make new videos, you'll be notified of it. And I will talk to you all in the next one.